largest food bank here in Tallahassee, Florida, called America's Second Harvest of the Big Bend. We've been in existence since 1982, since 1986, been part of the Feeding America network. We serve 11 counties in the Big Bend, Florida region, which is quite a reach given the travel time it takes to go from one end of our service delivery to the other. But 130 agencies work with us. Some are nonprofits, some are churches, many of them are faith-based organizations. And our food primarily goes to local food pantries, to soup kitchens, to congregate meal sites for elders or people at risk, and individuals that we work with who are volunteering, and for the most part their time, in order to distribute food to the people who have the needs in those counties. We've got almost 80 agencies here in Leon County, and one of the things that we do are mobile pantries. That is where we provide food by the truckload, where people come 200, 300 at a time. Like all other food banks that get funds or food from USDA or from large chain groceries, there are restrictions on who can get the food. Clearly, we don't give it just to anyone but those most at risk, so they have to attest that they're under the income levels, and we keep those kind of records so that the funders that we have and the people who provide the surplus food to us are assured that it's going to the most needy.
Right. So about the summer break spot program, do you think it's making a real impact, and how far of a reach is it from you guys?
The summer program for children is one of the programs that we have. You know, kids get a nutritious meal at school in the public school system, and that school lunch program is very good. Many kids are now participating in after-school programs, and we try and support those. We do send home here in our region over 600 backpacks full of food to the most needy kids in a number of schools. And they carry home close to 10 pounds of food for the family for the weekend. Okay. We have a summer feeding program where we go to some at-risk areas in the community and serve primarily preschool kids and elementary school kids. And it supplements what the school district does with their summer school program. So that's real important. Any food bank struggles with the up and down nature of donations. It doesn't always come at a constant rate, so we depend on the community to help us out in the summertime when donations are a little smaller. Clearly at Thanksgiving and Christmas our food donations and our monetary donations are much higher. So getting through the summer is always a challenge financially and with food.
Do you think we can become self-sustainable, as in like grow our own food?
Well, the issues that we face in this country is not that there isn't enough food, it's getting the food from the surplus to the needy.
Right.
Right now it costs us about 20 cents a pound to obtain food from the Walmarts and the Publix and Winn-Dixie's, other kinds of grocery stores. The food is out there, it's just we don't have the unlimited resources to be able to get it, process it, make sure it's safe, and then get it to the people who are in need.
Right.
So we're limited not by the amount of food that's out there, but by the resources that we have to get the food and deliver it to the people who need it. So the financial contributions are as important as food donations. The sustainable nature of growing your own food and community gardens and the like is really important because of the quality of the food.
Yeah.
But the amount of the food is not substantial enough to make the big difference. It's getting it from the surplus that we have, and in this country it's an incredible amount of surplus, to the individuals that have that need, and especially in rural areas where there's not a whole lot of grocery stores and not a lot of food banks.
So the surplus in this country, can it help other countries?
It's kind of hard to say because we're still not doing a good job in this country. We still have some 15–20% of our population that doesn't have access to the food that they need, and our programs don't really address the working poor the way we should. We do have food stamps for those who are at the most needy, but it folks who are working 2 jobs, barely able to meet their expenses, are trying to support their family, they're still at risk for not getting food or getting quality food that they need for their family to stay healthy.
Right.
So there's not a lot of surplus to go to other countries, particularly given the distance between the countries most in need and here. We do ship some things that I know, particularly rice and other grains, but clearly with other countries our job is to help them become more self-sustainable rather than to have them dependent on getting food from us.
That's cool. So if I'm an average member of your community, what would I do other than volunteer? You know, is there anything more I can do?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. Clearly we accept donations of food that you have, and we have people who regularly contribute there. But because our dollar can buy, in terms of surplus food, $5 worth of food, which will provide 4 meals for an individual, the monetary contributions go much further than the donations of the food that you might make. So that's a very important part, is being able to let us leverage the dollars to get additional food. And the volunteer effort we don't want to minimize, because just helping us with the process here saves us quite a bit of funds, but also volunteering with the agencies that and the churches that are distributing the food connects people, and that connection between the person who's sharing the food and the person who's receiving it is as important as the food itself, because it lets the person know that somebody cares about them, that it's not demeaning, it's affirming that we want to help and we value you as an individual.
So if I'm a celebrity, or if I'm a high net worth individual in your community, a person of power, what can I do to help you?
Well, clearly an ongoing support for our agency, or a specific program in the agency, is what you can do. We've been fortunate with some organizations, banks and the like, helping us with special projects like the backpack program or our mobile feeding program.
Right.
But we could expand those, and every weekend could have a mobile feeding if we had the support to do those kinds of things.
Okay.
And we have trouble getting to outlying counties because of the expense. Helping support that food distribution is critical.
Okay. Are we trying to, my last question would be, are we trying to root out the problem of hunger, or are we trying to cure a symptom?
Well, this is the big issue here, and they call it how do you shorten the line for people who are waiting for food. And we're trying to build some relationships with workforce people, career source in this community is what it's called, health departments and other folks, to get people to look at what it takes to get out of poverty. And clearly education is one thing, good health is another, child care is another, and job preparation that allows you to move up and get better than a minimum wage job. All of those things are factors that are going to help people move out of poverty. Poverty is always going to be here, but we have to build the ladders for people to get out if we're going to make any impact on reducing the demand. And it would be great if we didn't need food banks.
Right.
As long as we have the hunger, we need the food banks, but we need to be acting like we're trying to eliminate the food banks, and we're willing to be a partner with those kinds of things.
All right, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.